Hello everyone, it's Chris. I had intended to shoot and schedule this video for early April, but because of the number of Florida trip videos I had scheduled, that timing isn't going to work out. So instead I'm shooting this in mid-April, and we'll schedule this for, I believe, the first Sunday in May. But the reason I wanted to shoot this in early April is because we're basically at the 1-year anniversary of me selling my car and having the Spyder as my sole conveyance. For those of you that weren't subscribed to the channel and didn't watch my videos from a year ago, I'll just give you a little background. When I had a two-wheel motorcycle and a car, I thought often about how cool it would be to get rid of the car and just have the motorcycle as my only conveyance. I rode year-round, even in the cold weather. I did not ride in snowy weather. That's beautiful. But I rode year-round, and I thought, you know, I could just rent a car or Uber around if the roads were such that I couldn't take out at the time I had a KTM 890 Adventure. And then a friend of mine planted the seed about a Can-Am Spyder, not because he knew I wanted to get rid of the car, but just as a recreational product. He had a Spyder, he had a lot of different toys, snowmobiles and ATVs and whatnot, but one of his toys was a Can-Am Spyder. And at first the idea didn't appeal to me at all when he threw out the idea of me getting a Spyder, but when I thought about it in the context of getting rid of the car, I thought, oh my gosh, with a three-wheel vehicle I could take it out, not in like deep snow, but if there's a ½ inch of snow on the ground, I wouldn't have to Uber to the grocery store. I could jump on the Spyder and go for a ride. So anyway, on March 13th of 2024, I went ahead and traded my KTM 890 Adventure for this 2023 leftover Can-Am Spyder RT Limited. I still had my car, a Hyundai Kona, which I loved, but it was 6 years old, and I wanted to really do this experiment of living without a car. So I went ahead and made plans to get rid of the car, but I had to keep it for a couple of more weeks. It's a long story. It was a personal trip that I had planned, and I just couldn't get rid of the Hyundai Kona the day I bought the Spyder. But a couple of weeks later, on April 2nd, I want to take a right here, on April 2nd of 2024, I went to CarMax in suburban Buffalo and sold my Hyundai Kona, and I hadn't owned a car since. I've rented cars and I've Ubered when I needed to, but I haven't owned a car for just over a year. And so I thought I'd do a quick video on what that's like, what my plans are. So first of all, that move was not a financial move. It wasn't designed to, oh, that'll save me a lot of money. I own my car free and clear. Quite frankly, it's more expensive to maintain the Spyder than it was to maintain that Hyundai Kona. It was a minimalist move, just getting rid of stuff. And a car is a big possession, and if I could get away without a car, that would be a huge minimalist move. And that's really what drove it. It was not frugality, it was minimalism. And I don't regret doing it at all. It was a heck of an experiment. If you've been around the channel for any length of time, you've seen me, ride this thing in snow, in slush, in muck. Quite frankly, conditions that the Spyder is not. Oh, by the way, I'm just remembering, I think I have my Insta360. In fact, let's test it out. My mount set up so that it's going to hold now. In fact, let's see if this angle is. We're going to do a little test here. It's a whole lot safer doing what I just did than trying to do that when it's mounted to the rear passenger grip. But anyway, I don't regret doing what I did at all. Now, am I going to do it for this coming winter? Now, it's mid-April as I'm shooting this. The weather's about to get nice, so I'm in no rush to buy a car, but I do think that I'm probably going to buy a car before winter sets in. Now, we've got all these tariffs, and there's a lake back there. You can barely see it. We've got these tariffs affecting things, and who knows what's going to happen economically over the next few months. But I think I'm probably going to add a car back to my lineup. When I did this experiment, I think I even mentioned it on one or two of my videos, I knew that if I did buy a car, I'd go ahead and buy that same car that I had, a Hyundai Kona, only they revised it in 2024 and made it, quite frankly, much nicer. I don't like that they made it bigger. As a minimalist, I don't like that at all, but that's what they do with cars now, right? They just make them bigger and bigger. I had a first-gen Honda CR-V, and I love that thing. It was a 1998 CR-V, and the new ones are spectacular cars, but they're just so much bigger than what I wish they were. So anyway, from a financial standpoint, with the money I spent on Ubering and renting a car, I saved a little bit, like pennies, compared to if I continued to own my Hyundai Kona that I had, along with the Spyder. I saved pennies, like not much at all. So financially, let's just call it a break even. If I continue to keep the Spyder as my sole conveyance, and that's a possibility depending on what happens with the tariffs and the economy, it's possible. I've done it. I can survive another winter. The Spyder proved to me that it can handle it, even though it's not made for that. The Spyder can definitely handle what I put it through. I can handle it. Now, was it uncomfortable riding in single-digit temperatures to, you know, go to the grocery store or restaurant or whatever? It would have been a lot more comfortable in a heated car with heated seats. But I proved that I could do it. So if all hell breaks loose with the tariffs and all the rest of it, and it becomes crazy to buy a new car or to buy a car, then I'll probably just keep this again for another winter. I can do it. But if I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd bet that I'm going to probably have a car before winter sets in. Now, the next video that you're probably going to see from me is going to be riding from the Rhode Island area to Niagara Falls, 460-mile route, and the topic of that video is going to be riding on long trips, not so much because of that trip, but because of the Florida adventure that I was just on, where so I'm going to just call up the odometer. I'm going to go to trip B. So we put on about 3,600 miles on that Florida trip, finishing up not in Niagara Falls where I live, but in Rhode Island where I'm visiting for Easter. So I guess because I put on, let's say, 3,600 miles in just, let's say, over 3 weeks, I think I'm in a good position to give you kind of an update on what it's like to go on long distance adventures with the Spyder, including when it kind of blows up a little bit near the end of the trip because I had that rock hit my radiator and do a little damage. So that was a slight financial pinch and a slight logistical pinch because I had to fly back home to Niagara Falls and then fly back to Jacksonville to pick up the Spyder. But I think it should make a good video on, you know, long distance touring. And by the way, the short version of that is this thing is awesome for long distance touring. It really is. I'm going to lower the 360. I just love the fact that I've got this positioned so I can manage it without getting off the machine. So anyway, back to the topic of the video at hand. Being without a car for a year was a great experiment. I'm glad I did it. It was really fun at times. It made for some interesting video, let's face it. And it may continue. It may. But if I can, between now and when winter sets in, let's say mid-November, find a Hyundai Kona limited all-wheel drive that that I can get at a decent price despite the craziness that's going on in the world of tariffs and whatnot, my guess is I'm going to go ahead and buy one. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you have any comments on living without a car or riding long distance or anything we talked about, please comment. If you're not a subscriber to the channel yet, if you would subscribe, I sure would appreciate it. And until the next video, have a great day. Bye-bye.